Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Croatia. Oh boy, if you saw that previous episode, the battleground was India. So yes, we have taken some territories in the subcontinent, but we do not intend to go further than that. We've only wanted areas that has coastal centers of trade, because we were doing it for the trade companies, for this Croatian Empire. Even though, despite the fact that I just said the word empire, after all, we are empire too. But we're more of a great princedom. It's a republic, you know? A republic that happens to be the size of an empire. And of course, you know, although the most recent government reform we picked was citizenry, which gave us more morale of armies, which seemed to be a difference maker. And before I get on with this episode, I just want to say that, as you can see, that manpower reserves, yes, 200,000 less. We're almost fully reinforced. If this is your first time watching this episode and you haven't seen the previous ones, you would be horrified to know it's like, what happened to Croatia? How did it get to India and lost so much? Well, let me tell you. Vijayanagar was a very, very formidable opponent for us. Not only because we were invading their home territory, and they had many, many, many numerous troops. In fact, the total casualties on both sides was 500,000. We lost over 200,000 while they lost over 300,000. And they still got many more in reserve. They're gonna keep that war going on until, you know, the end of the world, basically. They will fight to the last. But we had to come to a compromise. I mean, we did take the capital, Kalyana. That was the war goal as part of the imperialism, Casus Belli. Yes, I said imperialism as a republic. And so that's why we only took some of the key coastal areas, which are currently being cored at the moment. That we only took Surat, Chal, Goa, which, by the way, there was Croatian India in real life history. They were based in Goa, even though it was only Portuguese controlled. But there was a small Croatian, aka Ragusan colony. Republic of Ragusa, that's what got there. So we wanted to follow the footsteps like the Croatian merchants did when they established themselves in Goa. And we achieved it, but we paid a very, very heavy price. And I cannot wait to develop this land when we fully core it in about a couple of years. As this already has a grand shipyard, a workshop, build a university here, then we'll start developing it more to get another building slot. Increase the center of coastal centers of trade and all that. And also we plan on building a fortress here. This will be the unofficial headquarters of Croatian India. In addition, we also took Kananur and Calicut, part of the Malabar area, home of the Malayalam people. And we also took Kotak. Too bad we didn't take Calcutta, because of the silk. Very developed, very valuable territory to us. Well, we had to sell it with this. And even go as far north as Dhaka, or the East Bengal. And so therefore, we have 3 new trade companies. The West India Company, which is in the Gujarat trade node. We also have the Croatian Coromandel Company and the Croatian East India Company. Don't worry about that currently controlled, just wait till a month it registers itself. And with that, we could increase the trade power a little, but however, now I get the prestige up for more global trade power. corner provinces reduce overextension to have trade power abroad. Some trade company investments. And sending light ships out to protect the trade to further increase our trade power so we can send merchants there to get the value of the land. If you control it. And Coromandel here is the most valuable. Upgrade these 3 centers of trade. Then we can start talking. But Vijayanagar will still dominate the trade node. We control 12%. They control 69%. So we'll send one of these merchants later, the ones that get at least amount of money. Particularly that one. Though Aleppo's worth more, but again, we sent all the light ships to India to help out with the fleets, but I guess we can send them back now. And of course, you are also probably aware that Croatia is at war. It's involved in a Genoese-Milanese nationalist war. We're up against Milan, Frankfurt, Liège, and Munich. While they are small, but they could have a little more. And this is our only army station there, which we sent General Gregor Blagaj, who was the hero of Croatian India, basically. He was a difference maker thanks to being a defensive planner, where he took a less amount of shock damage received. Also, by the way, we have also come to the conclusion of how did we take so many terrible losses in India? I mean, the numbers is one thing, including them being an army of quantity and offensive. They also have infantry combat ability, which we Croatians have the same national idea. They have cavalry combat ability plus 10, which is same with the Croatian tradition. But we have a bit more cavalry combat ability than Vijayanagar has. It's got to be here somewhere regarding... Ah, here it is, combat ability. So we have plus 20 because of Pandoas and private to martial. That's quality related. The cavalry combat is due to traditions, finest the horses, quality. And Cossacks, we have the Cossacks estate. That helps us out if they were a little more influential. And since the Vijayanagar has quantity ideas, what helped them out is the national manpower, recovery speed, supplies, garrison size, which is why we were having a bit of a hard time taking certain forts like Kalyana. But due to them being an offensive ideas, they have a little more shock to them. Faster recruitment to go along with the quantity. They have a landfire leader, which is obviously why we were getting shot to pieces. Because we've realized that Vijayanagar, especially this critical battle here in the highlands of Gobaga, which is located in modern northeast Karnataka, state of India, but we were getting shot to pieces, as we've mentioned, because of the land fire in addition to shock. We fought well when it comes to shock phase, but on fire not so much. And our discipline was similar. And they have a fast army morale recovery. And when we looked at the compositions, when we brought almost everybody involved, we have 109 units of infantry, 53 units of cavalry, and 30 units of artillery. And all of these armies that were deployed in combat, as you can see the compositions, I will scroll through slowly. There's the problem. While our cavalry performed fine, we were just horribly outgunned by their infantry and their mass artillery. In fact, I could show you right now. That's how much artillery Vijayanagar has. 87,000, and in contrast that we only have 30,000. 25,000 were actually deployed there, while the small number of artillery remained in Croatia proper. So, part of the lessons learned committee that we thought of ourselves in the head we've come to the conclusion on this war reporting that we were just horribly outgunned, and we should apply more emphasis towards infantry and artillery, especially artillery. Because if you want to fight more Napoleonic warfare, so as you claim, get more artillery. And have improved artillery range in the future when we get enough splendor. To have more artillery damage from back row. We will never be outgunned again. Not necessarily in European wars, but the Vijayanagar lesson taught us that gunpowder weapons matter. The army configurations we had was of the old army when we fought against the Ottomans back in those days. And we had that mindset and we never evolved out of it. And so, that is why we shall increase the... In fact, each of these army compositions that we have currently, they're going to increase in size. No army is going to go out without artillery. And some that already have artillery will have increased size of it. And possibly add a little more infantry to it as well. And since they're the only army in Croatia that is stationed there, so we figured it's about time to create a new army. I know we don't have the manpower for it, and I'm going to break tradition with this. Slacken army recruits. It will lower our army professionalism by 5. To be able to gain more manpower for armies, we have reduced our professionalism by 5, and we've gained this many out of this. Enough for the whole army and for the defense. And until y'all depart from your places, we will deploy you back to your original posts, such as one there. Possibly down there, just to deploy one, just to protect this part of Croatian India. And it's entirely possible while we colonize Kenya that we may have to deal with these African nations just to control the Great Lakes trade node. Not valuable, but it'll do. As well as a potential conflict with Kilwa by taking these coastal centers of trade. Revolutionary Mutapa. Hang on. Invalid number. I'll make you an invalid once I get done with you. That'll show him. But anyway, so if we were going to go expand our colonial and trade company interests, Sakalava would be the next target, which is a lead-in to war against Kilwa. I'm not worried about Mataba. We should do it just like what we did with Vijayanagar. Take all coastal centers of trade. It's your main target. Especially down here, so you can make your way further into the Zambezi trade node area with their centers of trade. But the more important reason, gold. We need more gold. Yes, I said more gold, even though it's going to increase inflation or something like that. So we did struck gold in Kenya. Down here, but resource has not been discovered here as we're currently colonizing the area. If any, it could likely be livestock, as it is in the savannah area. So we're only colonizing Kenya first. Colonize all of Kenya. Make your way up. Oh, by the way, highlands, mountains. Perhaps in future we should build a fortification. Not too high, but somewhere in these mountains, just like how we defend Bosnia-Herzegovina. saying that from a strategic point of view. I know it's been 15 minutes, and you probably want us to continue, get it over with. That's like an army recruits thing. We're going to create a second army just for the defense of this nation. Infantry, artillery only. Start off with infantry first. Also, in the meantime, there's also another thing I want to spend my money with. Since we did develop a bit of Bulgarian. You know how cloth gives us production very well. Need a little more textile manufacturing. There's more income in that, you know? Looking for areas. Have you built textile manufacturers all over here? Yes, sir. Definitely. Yes. You know, you never really developed Slavonia well. And now these areas you have controlled, particularly over there. You were just only interested in these kind of industries. Does it have a manufactory? No. But build a shipyard here. For future reference, knowing it's our easternmost area that we have taken. This one. And when I look at all the other centers of trade, and these other trade nodes, may never know that we'll go as far as Hawaii. Because there's one there. Less developed, but undisturbed by colonial powers. Even though all of them are taken, including Colombia. Don't give me any ideas, alright? You know these colonies are never going to be free for themselves. Or alternatively, go up to Japan. That one's got some value on it. Taking Japan. That area hasn't been colonized. In fact, bunch of empty territory. Which, based on that travel time, I don't think it's even worth it. Why on earth would you want to do that? It's better to colonize Africa because there's potential for gold. And these already established areas has some value to it. There could be some things out there that could surprise us. More than one. Colonize first place to get more riches. Manufacturer cutting us. Manufactory. Hey, this is needed. I know it's very low developed, but every little bit helps. No, not worth it. Plantation. Got that. Also got a plantation. This'll help. Just trying to upgrade everything as much as I can. Does it have a manufactory? Yeah, at the same time, I do want to increase the economy a bit. Well, anyways, it's been 20 minutes, so let's keep on going while we build a new army, while the armies will soon be departing. Departing to your respective places. Because not everybody could be here. So one will be stationed head down here in case of preparation for war against Kilwa that I may be interested in. And yes, there is revolutionary Spain, Portugal, Bremen, and Hamburg. Great Britain. England has finally become Great Britain. They've retaken the territories from the French. They got all that as required. Except for the Scandinavian parts of the Highlands. Well done. Guess that means that little independence war is over. English West Indies is still Crown Colony. What about Portuguese Peru? Portuguese-Peruvian War for Independence. Still ongoing. France no longer considers Croatia as a rival. Nice just for you to see things our way. Sending you back to Singapore. Livestock from Tana. Of course. Yeah, bringing in a heavy artillery this time. And I know it's over the force limit, but if there's any more buildings that has, that doesn't have conscription centers, they'll be upgraded. If not, we'll build new ones based on improvement amount. And most of that appears to be in Bulgaria. Good to know. Stand guard. Parliament demands Khalil Tahir's removal, citing several examples of his allegedly poor performance and bad judgment, but in fact motivated by his outspoken criticism of them. Parliamentary leaders are demanding the removal of him from office. Well, I can't promote him because he's not of an accepted culture, this Tunisian, so yeah, let's fire him. Not accepted. Accepted, but be expensive. I'd wait for a new advisor. Well, we will try to get the last two ideas. But we're gonna have to course some soon. Because these buildings, such as stock exchanges, are currently being built. Along with many other things. So just wait. France has declared war against Portuguese California. So Portuguese California. It's an independent nation. No, it's trying to be independent. Is it? There is English Columbia there. You can tell. Lack of demand for ceramics. Johor's long lived off the locally produced ceramics, but lately they've been forced to sell their products at reduced prices. If it's due to temporary whims of fashion or more permanent change, it's hard to say, but it's clear the local trade is suffering. So it's 30,000 strong to protect Croatia. While we may increase to 30,000 strong for all the other armies by giving them additional artillery or infantry, depending on the situation that calls for it. Again, it's their war and I'm trying not to get involved as we're in a recovery period. This is why we have 10,000 strong infantry here, just to safeguard our colony. $44 versus 45,000. Yeah, sending it to Madagascar for the upcoming potential conflict. Would like to upgrade these ships. Oh, they need a lot of money because we still have that old Navy configuration, that old Navy mindset. It's done. Till 1750. I'm gonna drop you off down there. Make yourselves at home. That's so. Nationalist war. Mogadishu. Just want to come across to there. No enemies in sight, so let's see. Oh, son of a beeswax. Find the worst accesses. So we no longer support these. It's a delegation to Holy See. Don't want to give them too much influence, otherwise there will be big problems in the future. Back to where you were. And do grant them local autonomy. But they'll go down slowly. So, hey, Majapai, it's got a center of trade. Who are they allied with? Lul. Hey, that area's got a center of trade too, I believe. Yes, they do. A little more of these, and then for the company. Also, when we look back on that experience from fighting against Vijayanagar, I'm sure you people probably thought of this too. Don't you think it's rather morbid that many of the men that they died for the company and not for the country? That false sense of patriotism and the idea of let's have more riches and all that sort of line of thinking. Wait, what gives? Oh yeah, I don't think we've improved relations for a long time. Just like old times, friend. You know, I often get money off of you. But you do have the money, so good. Because I'm going to need that. Oh, hell. I'll take a look at the moment of when does their influence start going down. When does it expire? Let's see. High trade income. No price meddling. Reform Republic pitch. Oh my goodness. It's not going to be till another decade. Not to mention we gave an awful lot of land to them based on these gains. I mean, every time when we go to war, they get more influential by grabbing more land for themselves. City with at least 30 development is another. Parliamentary concessions. Till that time. And we are a republic after all. And keep in mind, give them any higher, then there will be a plutocratic coup. But that's only if their influence keeps it low. Oh boy, is it really gonna... Should we really send our guys over there? Is it worth really losing our lives over? They got a 3-star general there. It's got a lot of fire. Supported urbanization. Okay, that's another thing that influence got them. What you should really look at is some of these modifiers. That gave them a lot more influence. Because they sent everybody over there, but we should go get these guys too. But I fear that... Well, we do have the defensive advantage. We can get them faster. They just need to come with us. We have the cavalry, we just have a lot of guns. My apologies. There. Could have improved it a little further, but to me it's not the ideal place. Would rather take these two to make it an ideal. Not to mention a little more development. What the vast majority of lands plan on taking will be along the coast till we reach the gold mines. I'm not really committed to sending my light ships back to normal because we're trying to recover the number of sailors, which will definitely be used to create more ships to enlarge our navy. We're moving up. Yeah, and we have a 2-star general of ours. Had the combat experience from India. But we would have the height advantage of these mountains. But this way, I'll take the river crossing penalty. We're scaring them away. Escalate complete. This is just to get the burghers to be very loyal to us, but not influential. It's a difference, you see. Battle begins on 26th of November. It'll be in the mountains, very dangerous. 23rd, 26th, 24th. So we'll be facing some, not all. We'll do what we can. Had to do something for once with what we call acceptable losses. Chase them down. Obviously they're gonna go all the way to Liège or Frankfurt. That's Frankfurt. Let's help them out a little. It's about time that we get involved in mainland Europe. Munich is out. Yes, it's rather odd that we typically hear this music whenever we play as the Mughals, but since we established our presence in India, so that's why this music is playing right now. This guy's fast. 4 maneuverability, 3. Okay. Lane. Barry. Finally. This is for them. And next time, improved force march. War's over. Go home. Thank you very much. March home. Right, what to do, what to do. One thing. Disgusted. Haven't really made improvements upon. Yeah, the other 3 in the works. Like to get a little more trade power. Could have sworn I thought his son disproved the trade company. Alright, it's part of the Gujarat trade node, right? Correct. That's why we're upgrading these in the moment. But I need to develop Goa a lot. Term is up. Honestly, don't like him because he's greedy, so... Go for another military candidate. Naive enthusiast. Well, we were trying to improve relations with the Mamluks, but you can't win all the time. Albania. Accepted culture. There you go. A trader. Kinda want to get back up to being a mercantilist empire. Not making as much income as we used to because Want maintenance of the army and the rooting out corruption, as well as the advisor maintenance, since we don't have cheap advisors. We make most of our money through trade, but we're trying to increase the income of production as well. And if you wish, you know, dominate the African trades. Especially with the acquiring of more gold. '22. Tied with Vijayanagar. Oh, we can change that. Need one fleet of light ships. Then go. Says that we have the most power, but let's keep it that way. Heck, Gujarat is more trade value than the other. And we already have full control of that. And with Malwa, but we do have a... Could have sworn I thought I had a one in compare that to Tunis. It's that one from Astrakhan. Although the trade value in Aleppo is better than that one, slightly. The ones that don't give me much in value. Heck, Chesapeake Bay gives more. So clearly it's gonna be you. You're off to Gujarat. Upgrade that. And we'll start saving our money for trade company investments since we are, you know, what we are. Improve its value, then we can start talking. And that goes the same for our part. And all these trade notes have to be improved upon. Already at the lowest level. Alright, very well. Requires 25. Because we're currently coring it. But these have to be developed in future. Especially Goa. This we can also upgrade. There you go. There's your trade power and lower development cost when needed. Okay, watch Gujarat. 30. Excellent. We collect a heck lot of these. Again, need a lot of income from these. There's the other fleet of 20 ships. Obviously we cannot dominate the Coromandel trade. But we actually made Gujarat and the West Indian Company the most valuable trade node than with this one. But it could change when this is improved upon and company investments and all that. Pasai has control now. But it's very valuable to us. I probably want to send that to there. Get that over there. We used to make a lot of money out of Alexandria, but we discontinued that in favor of other places. Good God, man. We have a lot of range. Including from areas all the heck way over there. And no reason for Chesapeake Bay's trade value to be improved upon, because one, it's a colony and can't be compared with Gujarat. It's not worth it. Not to mention signing of missions also increases its value. Screw it, Gujarat. We haven't dominated the trade node yet, because that honor goes to Malwa. Now we do, thanks to our abilities or whatnot. But if only we were able to control more of these, especially Arakan, which seems Bengal is gone now. But there's room to get Chittagong and Morocco. But they're allied with Mongpai. Tiny country. Well, looks like we have our next place to attack. But Pasai is with them, because I believe they are tributary state. Ah. So this would be a bit of a tough war if we were to fight them and subsequently betraying our ally. Because they wouldn't do that. I may consider if Vijayanagar doesn't attack us first, knowing that they're going to be eager for revenge to take these areas back. Oh boy. So yes, I'm interested in that now. Somewhat developed. We have another colonist, and also increased settler chance. And soon, and I do mean soon, because that'll be the last time I'll get this idea. And then after that, we will get rid of that policy. So that settles it then. We have Dhaka, which can be improved upon. Take Chittagong, Morocco, especially Chittagong. Has cotton, this has grain. No manufactory, there should be. Well, further up you go, you're going up against Jaunpur, which, another country that's not to be underestimated with, and they're allied with the Timurids. Scary thought, because they want to use the Timurids to fight against Malwa and Vijayanagar. And Jaunpur is guaranteed by Vijayanagar as well, so that seems contradictory. But however, you can bring everybody along except for them. Because, you know, a lot of the Timurids and all that. Basically, you are asking for a world war against, you know, like allied Indians against these enemies. The big bad Timurids, Akunilu, Karaman, Mamluks, and even Commonwealth to fight all this. My goodness, that would be a world war. And if we wanted to do that, we just only wanted to take all the centers of trade relating to the Bengal trade node. You know, for the company and all that. That would just be suicide, one would think. Oh, and that... You ask for too much. Mm-hmm. See what trade power we have now since we just improved Dhaka. A little bit good. The declining elephant populations in Southeast Asia. After many years of slow declining elephant populations of Southeast Asia is now at an all-time low. The demand for elephants and ivory products in both Southeast Asia and China has never faltered, and as a result, the price of the elephants and their ivory is rising. We do control some provinces that has ivory, especially those from Africa, so that's good. Bad for them, good for me. We recall something about the Iviet. That charter company. No, they'll never go for it. Because we're close to them these days. Doubt that we have any contact with Hawaii. No. Again, potential place to invade. Japan would never give theirs away. Neither is Korea. Or even Donghai. Not the... You sure that you don't want to give away Chittagong? Steer trade. That's an idea. Never thought about that. Steer trade or transfer trade power from the smaller countries. But would that be adding more in relations? I mean, you're not willing because of your economic base. Whereas for you, you know, you're just, you know, big. Well, that's because we are big. Really. Unless there are rivals. Well, we kind of don't view Vijayanagar as a rival now. We don't consider friends anymore. So. Yeah. We consider that now. Because well, we can't embargo them unless we have a truce. So embargoing them sounds ideal. I never want to embargo Spain or Timurids. You got yourself into this mess. No money in the world would convince them to give away Basra. Yeah, that was my choice. Obviously, too powerful would never give away. Yes, too powerful trade. Hang on. These less developed territories you've got there. Allied, trust, opinion. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're all at war. Beating each other up as much as you'd like. Sepoys. The Croatian West India Company is always hiring hardy men with military experience. The logistics of recruiting from Zagreb can be arduous, however. Company officers have suggested that a more cost-effective way to bolster company ranks would be to hire more extensively from the local Indian populace. These Sepoy regiments are drawn from Rajput Kshatriyas and thus well versed in the ways of war. Many Sepoys are willing to serve the company due to its reputation for honest and fair payment, which has been difficult to find in India as of late. Though a more homogeneous army of Croatian soldiers might be easier to command, we should not ignore the vast pool of manpower available on the subcontinent. Establish new Sepoy regiments, because we do want to recover the manpower as fast as we can. But you should all start drilling. In fact, we're going to make this decision. Well, except for you lot. Who else is not drilling? Oh, yes. We forget the new guy. Tend to forget. Yeah, the old First Army. Want everybody drilled. Since our income is slightly better than last, we'll have standardized uniforms. So, to the extent that uniforms are used in our armies, the regiment commanders often expect to provide and pay for them. This leads to a great variety in colors and styles on the battlefield and makes identifying from friend and foe confusing. Let us create the standard uniform for all troops on our payrolls that we attempt to provide for our troops. This is just to have a faster drill gain. And we can abolish it at any time, but it'll cost you some professionalism. And the cost, yeah, it did go down. While we're trying to reel our corruption still. Just want to get back to being a professional army. Those bastards. Get ready to develop this land. It's not much, but it'll do for a time. Hang on there. There it is. That's what you were looking for. That foreign influence. That's for reduced development cost. Alright, now improve this center of trade. Now continue to improve upon it. Got a lot of military manpower. Trying to get this up to 25. As I said, I mean up to 20, and then we'll build a trade station. Although I'd like to have a fortress as well. So that would be for 30 development then. Despite the fact that it's hills and it's tropical and all that. So do what you gotta do. There, 19. Now keep it going. You need 25 development to make it a world port. Now it's upgradable. Adds even more trade power. Less development cost. Possible number of buildings. Okay, you get your trade station, and then you get your fortress. You got what you want. So you should get this up knowing that you are getting to work on this counting house and then later build a manufactory. Yeah, screw it one more time. Now it's 30. Okay, in that order, here in Goa. Trade station, and then a barracks or conscription center. Oh, I mean, you know what I mean, right? And then fortress. All in that order. Taking this land very seriously. Reduce development costs for these two here. Every single one of them is going to have Croatian districts. You got a university? Well, they're being cored at the moment, so we'll build a university first, and then we'll start developing. But unfortunately, this area is jungle. At least this one is grasslands. But this area is already well developed. Don't have the kind of money. So I'll make that a world port. So I think you should focus on these two first. They're already fully cored. But we've already spent it all. Yeah, you get the idea. %. Every little bit helps. I know we're never going to overtake Vijayanagar, but at least contribute by turning these two into world ports and all that. Remember, you're doing it for the company. Oh, and by the way, we also have to give thanks to the burgers here for reduced development cost. And we got some land back. No need to improve that one. Lost that. Brandenburg's chosen golden era. And this can be a world port. This needs a university. And so do these two. Well, one's already got one, but next one. And then we'll develop it further, but spend only these two powers. Because we're trying to get to this last idea. Excellent. Gold, livestock. Again, I don't plan on developing it. It's not worth it yet. Highlands Mountains. Could be anything up there at this point. It's for the Kenya area that we're still colonizing over. Send one and send another. Wherever their native uprisings may be, we'll put them down. Well, not right now. What's going on? French, Portuguese, Californian imperialist war. Of course Spain's getting involved. It would be insane to come by their side. Brandenburg and Antilles. Trade value modifier for Croatian townships to have in future, which would help. I'll keep that well in mind. Malay, not an accepted culture. Hold on, slow down here. Though the great prince issues many ordinances, he is in practice almost powerless to enforce them. Instead, enforcement depends on local powers, regional, building, and city governments, and always vigilant as would be desired. Recently, it has come to our attention that authorities in Apulia are being particularly reticent in enforcing the great prince as well. I'll handle it. Oh, crud. Making a lot of... Now, if we could only do the same with the other ones. And try to imagine taking these two. Which, of course, which means we would have to fight against Pasai. Which, interestingly enough, they also have centers of trade that I desire. Looking at potential conflicts in future. American quest for independence. After a prolonged period of colonial mismanagement, we have reached a state of divergence. Cultural, societal, and political dissimilarities and the ongoing exploitation have made the settlers lose faith in our government. The differences between us and the settlers are becoming more prominent as time is progressing, and a large-scale rebellion is beginning to take form. This is a serious matter. The United States exists. Koya, United States. Doesn't exist right now as a nation, but they're out there. Not in the map, but an idea of the United States. Wasn't there supposed to be another institution? Tariffs on fish. Fish production in one of our colonies, the only one, it's coming to focus. Seems it generates quite a lot of money. Perhaps too much without being properly taxed. In the spirit of mercantilism, we should force them to trade their fish to our ports instead. This will greatly benefit our merchants and add a lot of income to the crown's coffers. Tax it. have a furnace is another requirement. Furnace. I have to be a leading producer of iron, cloth, coal. 3 trade bonuses, 7. Constantinople's the highest trade valued in trade node in the world. Not quite, not as it used to, because we're funneling that money this way. In fact, Gujarat is more valuable than Ragusa. It's absurd when you think about that. That's our home trade node. Plus, we're about to finally finish this. You know what? Screw it. It's finished. Couldn't make it a world port simply for the sake of it. But boy, are we behind. We already have a manufactory here somewhere, right? Trade depot, shipyard, counting house, state house. This is a furnace that requires coal. No, screw it. Develop Kosovo a little bit and build a furnace here. Apparently very valuable. I know another place that has coal. Up there. We already have a furnace here. These are the coals of the world. If any, it's probably going to be Great Britain that'll be the leader of the coal production. There's only one there. One down in Africa. It's just how it works. Monument at Zaragrad. Our construction of our monument at Zaragrad has finally been completed. People from all over our nation gather before its posing figure like curious children. Astounded by its marvel, they rejoice in belonging to Croatia. Today is the day to celebrate. Yeah, tributary. Okay. That's what's missing. It'll take years to fully fortify this area, as we want to build other buildings of interest out of Goa. And of course, when we build manufactories out of these trade goods, this would no doubt increase its value. Revolutionary Dortmund. And I shall be sure to develop Surat. Every little bit of income helps, as we've been getting a lot of it now. Every time. Oh, that's the dirt worst. But again, still have the idea of a potential war in Madagascar and Cuba. The Center of Revolution in Lubin has spread revolutionary ideas to some of our provinces, Zagreb and Zarigrad. The locals now oppose our absolutist tendencies. Oh, heck. They're back. But again, we're not a totally absolutist country compared to some. Now it's going to be spreading around here. But of course, since this is our capital, I mean, they are here, but they are not going to cause any issues. Son of a beeswax. That's twice you failed a debate. Reduce trade regulations to go for. Draws. I'll be willing to give away some crownlands. Hang on. Yeah, you should. That's it. It's our naval tradition. That's morale navies. This is army tradition. This is navy tradition. Or you're making a couple of more world ports over certain areas. You might as well. You'll get them back. There. It's passed. Now we have even more trade power and we'll make a lot more money through trade. Pay attention to the side where the merchants are. Okay. Yeah, wait till we get up to 80. See how they like it. That's what that's for. Lifts the fog of war so we know their movements. Like reconnaissance. Let's see. Great Ord. This again. No, you continue drilling. Add to there. These two areas will be on the move. As you were. Spread to Rijeka. Part of the capital, so it's not going to get the autonomy up because that's the capital state of Croatia proper. It's not going to go anywhere. For the development. Until it's finished there. Catholic faith. Good old Tuscany. Old friend. Knowing all this base manpower, you should get it up. Despite the lowered autonomy. Now let's see, so that's finesse. Yes. Spreading like wildfire, isn't it? And it's getting to Belgrade. They're up. Our attempt to assert rigid economic control over our colonies met fierce resistance. Some colonists brought forward suggestions to restrict the amount of goods being imported from Croatia and impose a ban on imported goods. Let the military handle this. Oh, like hell. He was a good man. Too bad all the talented people have gone. Not a damned Tunisia. Yep, in Belgrade now. Okay, so Portugal did win the war. Some of that areas be going to Spain, particularly those areas. Damn it! Just realized it. So in that case, corrupt officials. That'll show 'em. $34.9. You got a stock exchange. This doesn't. But until further development. Which we can develop that right now. Because did what we could. And this got a stock exchange, this does not. Develop a centers to trade further, then we may have a chance. Very well. upgraded during the war, obviously. Manufacturing. Work again. This definitely needs a manufacturer. Textile manufacturer, especially for an area like here. That war could be over sooner than you think. Cities looted. Oh, the sons of beeswaxes. Get down there. I don't know if it's a good idea that Croatia should go revolutionary. With them present here, that means we have to eventually fight them off again. 3 Vesto. Now let's go into Verona. Iron ore quality problems. Poor iron, though we're not recruiting anymore for the time being. You have it, company? Since when do the French have a... Ah, of course, the Andamans. No, dummy. Well, I guess you can't check that from the French. Every little bit helps. The quality of our troops is impressive. Our decision to invest in qualities made our armies more impressive in the eyes of our neighbors. I like to hear that. Plus all thanks to the yearly papal influence. I want to go back to more mercantilism, since we've become a bit more trade intensive again ever since we have now basically fully recovered. And of course trading disputes tend to happen. Economic policy. As the burghers grow in power, there are calls for fewer trade regulations and attacks become more and more frequent. Many feel our country has an old-fashioned and repressive trade policy that we would benefit from reducing the amount of taxes and tolls that hinder commerce. No, I refuse to change that trade policy. Mercantilism is the way. That'll help it. War's over. Okay, perfect. Get these upgraded. helps reduces their development a bit. Like to have that increased. Oh yes, make it a world port here for Bengal. And Dhaka, well, this needs work, obviously. Get it manufactured and we call it a day. As we do dominate the Bengal trade node, but this here in the works. Just developing more, then we could start talking. So what was our increased mercantilism? It's 35% now. With the Senator's Trade upgrade, it is now 38. We're catching up to them. Still in the full patrol Vijayanagar, but we're catching up. But I'm sure it'll make very good money. Well, not as much as Gujarat now, but... oh, until further improvements with manufacturers and all that. There's not much value in Bengal. Not to mention all that. Not to mention some of that flow of the trade goes up there. So it's much more valuable here than, say... But that trade value is about to increase further when we build a trade station here. So, look, what makes a trade value? Local goods produced, that's another reason to increase its value here. That would benefit us. I mean, it benefits them too, but more to us because we have a company. Let's get to work. Much like they're going to work on this one. In a couple of days. And we'll finally finish this expansion idea for even more global trade power for competitive merchants. And that completes expansion ideas, which lowers the minimum autonomy in territories, which also helps. Which, of course, just for completing that, you can also have a policy such as the Mining Act, which adds land leader fire. Sounds very good. Local army organization for lowered regiment costs but fast armor morale recovery speed. Trade efficiency and steering, that's just whatever to me. Commercial embassies for more trade power globally, and diplomatic reputation, which is always good if you're making alliances or negotiating for new land to set up a new company. Thank you very much. Now we can get rid of this, because there's no new institution right now. It hasn't been founded yet. And it's the earliest date an institution can appear. We will have a... I mean, let's say have a furnace. We do have a furnace over in Azov. Oh, just north of Azov. And we're about to have another furnace in Kosovo. Or have to be a leading producer of iron, cloth, and coal and all that. Iron. I know iron is present. But, however, it's rather uncommon to be found in these parts. No. Unfortunately, it's not common for us. If any, the Commonwealth could be the one. We already have a weapons manufacturer here. Same for that one. Be surprised it could be Vijayanagar. Leading producer of cloth, which is doubtful because we'd like to produce more cloth, but that's why manufacturers are currently at work trying to... We'll try to build a few more of those when we develop further. No textile manufacturing. It's got to be built here. This says cloth, but no textile manufacturing. Develop it. There we go. See too if we could be that one. If not, then, well, at least it was an effort. And this is all spices over there. Trade League disband. Now try to develop these further just like Goa. But it's in the works. And after the trade station, then build either a you know, one of these military buildings. Again, I'll show you somewhere. So either training fields or conscription center, and then we'll build a fortress in Goa. Just to show that I am not going to give up that piece of land back to them. Hold it. See the trade power now due to development, stock exchange, global trade power increased 42. I'm gonna split them up. No, no, no. You lot. Split. Well, trim it a bit. To at least 20. It's a standard. Coromanda. Not as valuable, but it'll change it up. Especially with company investments. So let's check it. $50. Well, there you go. And also, I believe that in the region to become dominant trade power, you control 36%. 95. But definitely not Indonesian. This also needs a textile manufacturing in future, but it doesn't cost as much to develop this. Damn it. This one. Here you go. Now, develop it. Shows you how intensive I am with these. Now don't develop it again, because in the next episode you gotta start saving up, because now it's starting to get to that point. trade efficiency in the range. It's going to keep improving upon. And from now on, save your money for company investments. My goodness, look at that amount of money we are making through trade. And it's Aleppo's the one that we're making the least. Well, I know where I'm going to send you now. No, not like that. Come over here. Wait 1 month so we'll know how much we are collecting from the Coromandel Trino. Infiltration of Mali. Our military professionalism has made our retired deserting officers very attractive to the other countries in the region. So much so that they're not reportedly vetting the defectors they recruit. Our spy master reports they managed to get a number of agents to service in the Malian crown. Huh. Excellent. Thought about this. Ivory Coast. The Guinea, which we do have the very strong trade position there. Should invest in more of that, much like we did for the other two. Hang on a bit. You know, simply for the sake of it. You gotta do something with them anyhow. Thought about going to war with Mali just to take that center of trade, but I'm more interested in that other side of Africa here, because our next potential war might be for that one. I mean, we're fully recovered, well, nearly, until we start calling everybody over here. Well, the other army stays here, but at least it gives us some breathing room. They're not quite fully drilled yet. Okay, just hang on, see how much we make. That's a big one. And with the merchant presence there, unfortunately Vijayanagar has taken control back. I mean, after all, there's been some embargoing on us. Is the truce with them expired? Vijayanagar? No. Next year. Then I'll embargo them. Hey! Realize what they've been up to. Is that what they're trying to do? Why, not everybody's doing that. So we'll be getting out of this episode very soon. I'm just taking a look. Enable promote the investments. Now you got yourself a new merchant coming next month. 35. But be careful with that because that inflation. There's your new merchant. I guess I'll send you to Bengal. And it'll be here in 2 months. Just to collect trade, knowing that I will make some improvements in future. Such as, developing this land in the future. As we did what we could. But screw it. There you go. Now 5 more, then you will make this a world port, just like what you did with Katak. And of course, textile manufacturing is the name of the game. Because it's pretty important to us. Let me see, 38. 36. We only collect this much, despite the number of ships. So now it's stopped, but we'll hire this man. So we can reduce that inflation a bit. So, Commonwealth started the imperialist war against Nuremberg, Bohemia, Mons, Palatinate, Brandenburg. Attacked them. Oh my god! What have you done? This is some serious war you just started. How did France get involved? As a part of a coalition? And yes, you got your allies, but you're fighting against Brandenburg. That was your ally. What the hell is France doing there? Did they warn him or something? Brandenburg is the HRE emperor. That's one thing. But an ally to France, that's the reason why. Oh boy. They don't have much of a navy. I mean, we can get our troops back home easily. But well, boys, guess you're all going home because got a pretty serious situation here. Because, an army this large versus that amount of the Commonwealth. Commonwealth, Scandinavia, and Ansbach. And now Croatia's about to join. Which could make things rather uglier, but with their combined strength, it's doable, but it's going to be pretty costly, so we'll accept. And I believe that is a very good time to end the episode on that note. So get to your positions before we figure out how do we, fight a war like that. And in the meantime, build a fortress here and here. Places to defend. When it comes to, this kind of warfare. So yeah, we decided to make investments on something else. So, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll end the episode on that note, as we have gone very, very rich, even though we're 4th place of the great powers. We don't plan on becoming an economic hegemon. That's not my intention. We're just trying to find ways to make a lot of money and get so much income for newer armies, perhaps, since we are full. So obviously slightly over the limit, but the homeland calls to defend Croatia before we go on the offensive to likely on this front. But keep in mind, it's Nuremberg, and their colonies will be there. Revolutionary French Louisiana. And that makes New Croatia in danger of this situation as well. And my last act. Well, I'm gonna make you do whatever the heck you want. Because you're in that part of the combat zone now, so have fun with that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be a first. It's not necessarily a world war, but look, our old enemy, 2 Sicilies. I should have suspected that they would also be there, of who the hell we're gonna be dealing with exactly. Well, they'll have to get through these fortifications first. So, homeland calls for the next episode, but until then, so long for now.